I have exactly one chance left to get the ugly truck to a track for a test and tune session before Rocky Mountain Race Week starts in exactly 2 weeks. And last time you guys saw we just fired up our brand new 535 solid roller big block, which normally would be great. However, this one only makes 10 pounds of oil pressure at a hot idle, which to me isn't enough. Now, I know a lot of people might just say, oh, send it, it'll be fine. You know, there's a couple of Band-Aid fixes that you can do. Well, to me, none of those options were acceptable. So we removed the 535 big block from the truck, and today we are going to tear it down. We are going to find out why it's not making adequate oil pressure, and then, one way or another, we are going to make it to the track this Friday night for our last test and tune before race week. All right, 1, 2, 3 galley plugs installed right where they belong. Okay, so we got the priming tool hooked up. I have the oil pressure gauge still on, and this thing is still full of the same oil it ran yesterday. I just want to get a baseline with the drill when it's cold. That way we can compare kind of before and after. It's like 42 to 43 PSI. What I'm going to do here is just roll the engine through with no valve train on it, but the lifters are still in. And then I'm going to watch through the lifter oil galley to make sure nothing's like popping out of or the wheel comes up through or something like that. That may be concerning. That could be the cause of our issue right there. All right, so just a little while later, I think we actually found the root cause of our problem, and I'm really glad that we took the time to find it. I don't know if it fixed just yet, but let me show you what we have found. So this is the setup. We have our bore scope looking down the oil galley. This is what intersects all of the lifters. This is what the lifters kind of look like. You get the little wheel down below, you've got the oiling band, and they go up and down in the bore. Now, for this to work properly, you have to seal off the oil galley, but see that little kind of M-shaped or Batman ear-shaped cutout on the bottom? Well, look at this. So this is an exhaust lifter right here, and that's what my bore scope is looking at. This is at maximum lift on the cam. So this is as high as it'll ever go, and I can pick it up a little bit further, but watch right there. You see that kind of little shadowy looking place? That's a cutout, or that is the cutout, I should say, right in the corner there. And basically what that's allowing is all the oil pressure that's built up in this galley just to be flushed right back out. So I don't know what the fix is yet, but that is definitely, maybe not the only, but it's definitely a big culprit for why we have such low oil pressure. And the way this is machined, I would bet $1 that every single exhaust lifter is that way. I checked the intake on the other bank. I think the intakes are just fine, but let me think, but that's our issue.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so I had a minute to think. I went home, I grabbed a couple of parts, and I came up with 3 plans, and I've kind of ranked them based on timing, cost, and parts availability. So plan number 1 hopefully is the simplest, and it could get us back on the road in short order. I happen to have at the house this guy right here. This is a Raylar 213 cam. It's a pretty spicy cam by itself, not quite as aggressive as the one that we have in the engine. And one of the main differences, it has less lift. So theoretically, if it doesn't push the lifter up as high in the bore, that little pocket isn't going to pop out and we shouldn't have the oil pressure issue. But here's the rub. It only has 40 thousandths less lobe lift than the cam that we have in here now. And I'm not sure where that difference is, if it's on top of the lobe or if the base circle has a different diameter. So I figured it's worth a shot. All it's going to cost me is because I already have the cam, just a little bit of time to tear it down, which I kind of want to do anyway. So that's option number one. Option number two, maybe a little better plan, but it's going to cost more money and take more time. If I can find a full body lifter that'll fit this block, theoretically, I could put it back together as it is with this camshaft, but it's going to be tough. I haven't found one yet, but it needs to be a 903 diameter. I'd like it to be a 0.300 taller lifter because that's what we have in here now. So maybe it could work with the push rods that I have now, but also it might not. That's option number two. And option number three, if 1 and 2 do not work, get a couple of guys with some junkyard engines, and maybe we just end up cobbling something together with a stock short block. I could pull the cam and heads out of my damaged short block, put it together, and maybe with my old turbo just to keep the boost turned down a little bit. So that's option number three. I don't love it, but I want to go to race week so bad. So those are the three options, and let's tear it down and find out if number one is going to work or not. Okay, on the off chance that this cam fits, there's two things that we're probably going to have to do. Number one, more than likely we are going to have to get different length push rods, but we can handle that. But the other one, which obviously we can handle too, but the other important difference is this camshaft has a 8.1 firing order, which is the same as an LS, and the cam I just pulled out has a standard big block Chevy firing order. Now the blocks are the same, but 4.7 and 2.3 are switched, so we will have to change the wires back to the original configuration if we run this cam. Also worth double checking. 1, 2, 3 plugs installed. Is option number one going to work? Place your bets now, because I don't even know myself just yet. I don't know if you can see it or not, but in that little corner, that's the lifter edge. So option number one will not work. Okay, so we are quickly exhausting all the options on our list. Number one, the different cam didn't work. Number two, finding a different lifter has provided to be, to me anyway, impossible for now. Not saying that they don't exist. In fact, if you can find one, please let me know. But what I need is a full body solid roller lifter, 0.903 diameter with a 0.300 raised push rod height. I've not been able to find one. Almost all the solid roller lifters I've found have that M-shaped cutout around the wheel. So we are now on to option number three. So that means I got a lot of work to do. You guys want to know what I hate the most about all of this chaos? It's the disorganization. I feel like I have too many things apart, too many things going on, and my brain cannot handle it. It's driving me nuts, but it's like you got to do what you got to do. All right, guys, let's place our bets. Does cylinder number 5 have a broken / cracked / melted piston, which is what they say is the most common failure on a stock 8.1? 2, does it have a bent rod? Or 3, something else? Well, let's find out. Well, there's actually no visible damage to the piston, so I'm going to guess bent rod. this time, I think. Oh, yeah. And just a short while later, thanks to the power of the internet, some good friends, and a good day's worth of hard work, we are ready to start reassembling plan number 3, which is, of course, a junkyard / stock-ish rebuild. So here's kind of what we did. This is the original block that was an ugly truck. For the most part, it appears to be in pretty good shape. Obviously, we gave it a thorough cleaning to get any of the bearing debris out of here. So ready to start reassembly. This is the crankshaft that came out of the ugly truck motor, and as you can see on that lobe there, there's a fair amount of bearing material that's been deposited, focus, onto that journal. So I could probably get that turned 10 thousandths under, but again, time crunch. So here's what we did. Tim, a viewer from Colorado Springs, dropped by pretty much a complete disassembled engine. This is most of the parts there. He even got me another block, all the rods and pistons. This stuff's in pretty decent shape. Block's in pretty decent shape, and he got a couple of bearings and things like that. But the key to the project that Tim brought by, this guy right here, a original crankshaft. Now, the other people that I have to thank majorly is Elite Engines and Machining here in Colorado Springs, because I dropped by yesterday afternoon with a really big pretty please, and they were able to get that crankshaft polished in like 2 hours for me. So we are moving in the right direction. And then finally, thanks to Nick, he had a bunch of slightly better condition 8.1 pistons and rods. So we are going to assemble this thing back together with my aluminum heads, aluminum intake, same camshaft that we had before.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Doesn't seem right. Alrighty guys, if you just saw me torque that first main cap down to check the clearance, you probably noticed that the bolt's stretched. The OEM ones are torqued to yield, and they've already been reused twice, so apparently it's not going to work, and we're not going to risk trying to use them. So I grabbed the next best thing, not an OEM bolt, because those are like back ordered everywhere we are, but these are a sort of equivalent grade 12.9. We're measuring clearances anyway, so we'll verify if it's right. So back to the shop. All right, clearances range from 27 to 32 tenths, or 10 thousandths of an inch. Yeah, I made a mistake earlier this week. I had a video where I said thousandths. You guys know what I meant, but that's the accurate measurement. Now, don't get me wrong. We are in, I don't want to say a rush, but we are under the gun to get this thing done. But that's still no excuse not to do it the right way, or as right as you can do it. So we still got to check clearances. All right, 7 thousandths, we'll take it. or 70/10,000ths if you want to be precise. And if you want to be metric, I can't help you. I'll put it up on the screen though. So the rod bearings that Tim sent along were for a crank that was machined 10,000ths undersized. This crank is not machined 10,000ths undersized, so I grabbed some correct size bearings and we're going to check the clearance. I already checked the first one. The first one checks out perfect. 23/10,000ths. Can't read it that well upside down, but it looks like about 25 or 26. So I checked out all the rod bearing and of course the main bearing clearance. Everything luckily is well within spec, so I'm happy. I gotta tell you guys, dial bore gauge, money well spent if you're gonna be doing engine work. Every time I have one apart, I measure everything, even when we're in a rush, because today is now Thursday, the 22nd of May, 10:40 in the morning, and tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. we got testing tuned. Whew, it's gonna be close. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you, but I am gapping all the rings because that's what you do when you have a junkyard motor. This is like premium junkyard building here. Take notes. I swear, no matter what I do, these front and rear lips on these 8-1 pans, they always leak. So I end up using RTV, which makes it a little more difficult to go on and come off, but at least it won't leak.
What size are the injectors now?
Thousands. But I was worried that I had detonated it, and I was looking at the piston. Piston looks fine. I think it just hurt the rod. Can I introduce you? All right, everybody, this is Eddie. He's going on a race week with us, and he's helping out.
Number 6, it'll be intakes and exhaust, and on number 1, it'll be intake and exhaust, and then you just go through them.
Man, that's, I could, my brain doesn't work that way. Like if I don't start in one, I don't care how many times I got to roll the motor. I got to start at the front and go all the way down. Otherwise, I'm like lost. this one hasn't yet. There we go. So if you guys remember, the last engine is 43. This one's 56. All right, well, I kind of forgot to hit the button because we're just working. It's now Thursday evening, just past 6 p.m., but we have the engine in. All right, so it's now Friday morning. We were here till about 9 o'clock last night. As you can see, we got a lot done. I didn't film much, but you guys have seen this engine going in and out. So we're about to fire it up. Just doing the coolant top off. Chris put a U-joint in the drive shaft for me this morning so we could put the drive shaft in, top off transmission fluid, not overflow the coolant. And this engine's gonna run, and it's gonna run good. This is a highly scienced out drive shaft with many spacers to get the angles somewhat close. Kevin, if you would please, the second drawer on the black Husky box, there's a big pair of channel locks. See that? One-handed.
Throw it up.
No, just talent. Pure, natural talent. I don't know whose bright idea it was to put 4-inch exhaust on this thing. So we're adding our own little concoction here. This is like 50-50 ATF and 50% hydraulic fluid. It's supposed to help tighten the converter up a little bit. Broken in. Very good. All right, guys, and the best part is, look at that. She's up to temp, and we have good oil pressure. Great success. Now, one more thing that I did. I took some wastegate spring out. So we had 2 springs, and 15 PSI was our old baseline. Now we have more compression and a lot better airflow and a lot bigger turbo than we did with the previous combo. Not the 535, but the previous combo that I actually got to use and drive. So I think it's about a 9-pound spring for now. We'll use it, we'll drive it, see how it likes it. I know there's going to be someone out there who says, oh, building a stock motor, that's not doing it the right way. Well, I guess you're kind of right in a sense, but we built this stock motor with the utmost level of care and quality and precision and double checking things. It's not about doing things with the most expensive parts in the world. It's about doing it to a level of quality. That's what it's all about, guys. That's what I'm preaching every single time. I don't care if you're doing a junkyard build. I don't care if you're doing a $200,000 engine build. Treat them the same way. And now we have an engine that's fully up to temp, makes 40 pounds of oil pressure at idle. Just what we want. Alrighty, guys, we made the drive down. There's 84.6 miles on this engine that was in pieces yesterday. I will say I've got a super conservative tune-up in it right now, and it feels kind of sluggish, especially compared to the last time we drove it. But we'll kind of sneak up on it this time, and well, we'll see what it can do. All right, so I'm actually pretty happy. The first pass off the trailer, 11.3 at 117. I don't think I can technically dial in faster than 11.50 at race week because I don't have any safety equipment, so that's good. And I'll have to check, but I know at Bandimere, when it was open, this truck ran a best of low 11s, probably similar. But that was at almost 20 pounds of boost on the old stock engine. We're now with the heads, the bigger turbo, the bigger intake. That was 11 pounds of boost. DA of 8,300 feet, 1.6, 60 foot, 7.2 at 96 to the 8, 11.3 at 117 in the quarter. So, not a bad first pass for an engine that has 80 miles on it. So this has been an extremely stressful yet highly successful week, if you ask me, because we started out by tearing down the 535. We found out why it wasn't making oil pressure at idle, which despite what some commenters suggested is not the result of a mistake or an error on my part. Oversight maybe, I'll give you that, but an incompatibility between parts. Those solid roller lifters on the cutout, they just pop up into the oil galley, they bleed off pressure. But unfortunately, we're not able to fix that because we are going to do some additional machining work to the block to repair it. But I still wanted to go to Rocky Mountain Race Week, so we did a game time decision. We changed plans. We tore down the 8.1. We found out why it failed, which was the result of a bent rod and a spun bearing. We scrounged together some extra parts. We got a crankshaft from Tim. We got some rods and pistons from Nick. We rebuilt the stock 8.1. We put it in the truck. We tuned it. We went back to the track. And on top of all that, in 1 week, we reset our personal best ET at high elevation. At Bandimere a couple years ago, the best this truck ever ran was like an 1137. Last night, we ran an 1134, but here's the good part. That 1137 was on like 18 pounds of boost. Our 1134 was only on 10, which just shows off how much more airflow this top end kit and the turbocharger is gonna put through. So yeah, a mid 11-second truck on only 10 pounds of boost, I will take that all day long. And on top of that, this thing is just a mellow cruiser. I mean, it'll go the speed limit with ease. So I'm really, really excited that we got this thing back together. The question is, how long do I think it's gonna last? Well, we're gonna keep it at 10 pounds of boost for race week because we can't go faster than an 1150 technically because we don't have the requisite safety equipment. But after race week, we're gonna turn it up a little bit. I wanna get another couple like 1090s, maybe a 1080 out of this truck. And that's about as far as I feel comfortable pushing it with the stock bottom end. We still, of course, are going to get the 535 put back together, and maybe by the time we get that squared away, I'll change my plans once again, and it'll go back into the four-wheel drive drag truck like it was intended. And maybe we keep Ugly Truck kind of just the two-wheel drive, stock engine-ish, sleeper, fun cruiser. Like maybe I'll even redesign the turbo kit and put AC on it at some point. But anyway, yeah, it's been a heck of a week. The truck's running great. There's a few little tweaks that we got to do for race week. Like last night, the fuel gauge just stopped working, which fuel gauge is pretty important for a drag and drive event. A couple other little minor bugs and tweaks, but so happy. Thank you guys for watching. My plan for race week is I'll see how it works out, but I plan on doing daily uploads. I think that would be fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm down for it if you guys are. So thank you. Come back soon.